Hi, I'm Joe Pena, and I'm here with Beverly Rickard, and we're doing our very first webinar today of the Beverly Rickard series. Beverly, as you may know, was interviewed by Suzanne Spooner in a QHHT session. One session led to another, and to another, which led to an interview with Suzanne, where Beverly joined us, and then ultimately with me having an interview with Beverly on Enlighten Me. So this collection you can find at Suzanne Spooner's playlist titled The Designer Series. All right, I see we have a few people joining us right now as we speak, but we've just started, and I'm introducing the show. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. And I would like to just kick this off by welcoming Beverly and to announce to you that the topic for today is reading energy. And this is something Beverly has done for however long, but now has a better command of it. And Beverly's going to be discussing this topic with us today. All right, Beverly, welcome.
Hi, Joe. It's my pleasure to be here with you and everybody else. So
now, Beverly, I'm going to go on mute. I may chime in with a question or two here and there, and we will definitely be taking questions from anybody in the audience who might have them. And if you have a question, feel free to type it in the chat. And if you ask a highly personal question, understand that we're recording and that you're implicitly allowing me to be able to show this question, etc., however it plays out, and to be displayed on the final edit. So just recognize that, okay? There's an element of privacy that you want to keep in mind. All right? Beverly, okay. It's all yours.
All right. Well, we're discussing energy and kind of how I have learned to read it and integrate it. It's started obviously from birth. As you all know, we have done the interview and talked a little bit about that and the progression of energy reading. I would say that I'm putting out there that I'm an energy reader at this point, and I read whatever energy comes to me for whomever it is deemed necessary. I always try to be respectful of others when I get energetic information to, I guess, to tell the person in case they're ignoring their dreams, their spirit guides, their path, their purpose, passed on loved ones, those types of things. So it's very individual and very specific to each person. I would say not each person comes across the same way in any way, shape, or form. It's never the same. And sometimes I get interrupted with messages for others, and they will come into my mind's eye, and I will go, okay, so this person, what's going on? And they'll start giving me messages to give to that person. And I have to be very respectful of that. Of course, it can show up in dream form. I can start having a dream about somebody. I could be walking through the store and I can get collective consciousness, energetic guidance, or seeing, knowing things that have yet to come to pass, or it shows up in so many different ways and different forms. But the biggest thing about it is the respect level of energetic reading in this form. First of all, I'd like to say that when you do an energy reading for somebody, they use what you have already stored in your subconscious to convey a message. So your experiences are key, a huge key to helping others and reading energy. It is not a very easy thing for somebody that doesn't have a lot of different emotional life experiences to convey energetic messages in different ways. In my sense, they allow me to read things that I haven't experienced yet, with respect that it soon becomes like a game of charades for me, because they're showing me things I haven't experienced. and they're leading me down a path that I emotionally don't understand yet. But I hang in there and I do my best to convey the message to the person, or I tell them the vision that I'm seeing and kind of what it feels like to me. So it's kind of like being the bridge between the unknown and the messages that the soul needs to know to stay on their purpose or their path or their healing, whatever it is that the individual needs in that moment. So, Joe, what is your take on some of that?
Okay. You mentioned there that, I'm glad you asked, by the way. You mentioned there that you can tell if someone's ignoring something. I thought, well, that's interesting. How can you tell that somebody's ignoring something? You don't even, like, you may not even know them, right?
I know because if they're coming to me, they're ignoring it.
Clever. Okay, but this isn't something that, like, for example, if they didn't come to you, if you mentioned you were walking through you could walk through a store, for example, and you might get guidance or be able to see something that will happen. Have you ever tuned into somebody and been able to tell that they were ignoring something, for example?
Yes, I have. As I've grown with my gifts, I learned to respect it. I respect people's path and their privacy, where they're at, what I'm being shown. I like to keep those things very private to each individual, unless they approach me or my guides or, whomever gives me messages kind of nudges me. Sometimes it takes me a good 3 times. I don't like to be assertive and just walk up to somebody and, kind of go into their personal business. I think there's a huge respect with this gift.
Mm-hmm.
And so with my guides are like pushing me, nudging me into it. And I can tell when that starts happening. The person might approach me and start talking to me. We might bump carts in the store. Leading us to conversation, those types of things. But if not, it's just kind of like I'm picking up the energy and I'm reading it. And if it comes across where I need to intervene, where they want me to give that message, then I respectfully do so in a very respectful manner.
Okay. Let's say you were very respectful, and I'm sure you are, Beverly. It's pretty obvious to anybody who listens to you that you would be like that. Consider it, if nothing else, at the least, very least, consider it. What was the most, I don't know, surprising or, yeah, what was the most surprising response you ever got from someone who you may have approached after getting these nudges where you otherwise wouldn't have approached them?
There's always the clarification that when the conversation starts, and I always ask permission first, like always, out of respect, like, I know you may not know me, and I know I do not know you, but is there any way we can have a small conversation that kind of pertains to this? If you're open for it, that's fine. If not, that's fine too. I let them choose if they want to have the information. And that's being respectful of the divine and the gift that he gives us.
Sure. Man, that sounds like a really, really good approach, because they don't even know what you want to talk with them about, but you start out with the understanding that you're a complete stranger to them, but you have something you'd like to talk with them about. Have there ever been any life-saving sorts of experiences that you had with someone, like, for example, they may have had a health issue or something along those lines that you made them aware of?
Yes, healing shows up in many forms. I wouldn't say necessarily like a health issue, but probably the stress of them not allowing the healing process causing physical ailments. And one of those that comes across would be, and forgive me, everybody, for saying this, but when my life was a lot more busy with the girls and full-time job, part-time job, life, the shower was my private time to think. And a lot of times I would start getting messages for people in the shower or downloads from the universe about what was going to happen here in this physical plane, that I didn't quite understand. And like I said, that's where they start connecting dots and playing the game of charades and emotionally trying to pull whatever closest emotion to help me understand that. So in a sense, yes, I would get messages for people. One in particular, when I was in the shower, and her mother had come across and she had passed. And the mother wanted to give me all kinds of information to the daughter, letting her know, I know what you've been doing and I appreciate it. It was to help her on her healing journey. She was having a hard time mentally, extremely depressed, dealing with anxiety over the loss of her mother. Now, in a sense, I would say yes. By giving those messages, we are helping with the depressed part, the anxiety part, which often grows into physical ailments, forcing us to actually heal and deal with these things. So yes.
When you had your girls, so this goes back a number of years now because they're probably high school, maybe college age, if I remember right. Did you have your kind of like your gifts together in terms of the understanding at when they were infants, or did that understanding for you come a little later on?
I would say it's been a slow integration process. When I became a mother, obviously the gifts started increasing more and more. There was parts of my body that were probably unlocked, I would say, and just through the progression of becoming a mother, understanding different forms of life, different ways of life, different emotional depth when you care for other human beings. And I think that really enhanced the gifts, I would say. And that's just my personal experience. And I don't mean that people that don't have kids can't understand it, but from my personal experience, it definitely gave me a greater depth.
Now, I said we would take questions after a while, but I do have one here that I would like to read for you, if that's okay. You up for it?
Yeah.
Okay. This question is from Maria. She says, my dear friend John Ivans passed away in October of 2019. We met on the island of Malta. We were very close. I left Malta, but he stayed there. But we stayed in touch via Skype regularly.
Yes, was there a love affair when they were together when they first met? Did they kind of have like this kickoff, like fireworks love affair on the island together?
Maria is saying no. Is that correct, Maria? No? Okay, that's correct. No.
No? Okay.
I'll continue on, okay?
Okay.
We met on the island of Malta. We were very close. I left Malta, but he stayed. And we stayed in touch on Skype regularly. I'd like to know how he experienced this transition and if he tried to get in touch with me. I'd also like to tell him that I love him very dearly, and I thank him for his generosity. Is there something he wants to tell me?
The first thing that comes up when she asked the question was that there was this like connection between the two of them that was, when we're teenagers and we meet somebody and we hit it off and we connect with them. And so that's how I was reading it. Like the energy was so, it was well enmeshed. It was like they knew each other for a long time and they could talk about deeper things and those types of stuff. Is that kind of what I'm getting? I want to make sure I'm picking up the correct energy before I move forward. Because there's probably, I don't know how many people are in here and I could be picking up someone else's.
Maria, I saw you barely nodding. Is she reading you well? Yes? Okay. And you're welcome to speak if you like. Would you like to come on camera? Or yes? Beverly, we've got Maria here. You can speak directly to her. I'm going to go on mute.
Hi, Beverly.
Hello.
Yeah, both John and I, we are very spiritual. We both knew a lot about the etheric world, and that there is much more behind everything, behind the veil.
Yes.
But it was a platonic relationship. But from the very first time when we met, there was a connection, and because he also liked my doggies very much, and yeah.
So, yes, you guys talked long hours about the deeper spiritual subjects, is what I'm gathering from just picking up what he wants to come across. And there, he keeps pushing through this message that he never got to really express his true depth of love for you, to you, for some reason. There was something in between, and forgive me for saying this, but there was something between the two of in the form of sexuality, and I'm not sure what that was. Not saying that you guys were sexual in any way. That's not what that means. But an expression of that never culminated for whatever reason. And so he wants you to know that just because that didn't culminate, the depth of his love for you is so far beyond what most people can ever even experience. It's more at a soul level. It was a personal level. It was, he's still, and he comes and checks on you, by the way.
Okay.
Yes, that's interesting. Do you read books?
What kind of books do you mean? Well,
hold on. Like deeper knowledge books, I would say.
I used to read plenty of them, you know, years and years ago, because my journey started when I was 30 years old, and I read plenty of books, but not at the moment. You know, at the moment it's just, you know, like novels and historic novels and things like that. Sometimes crime story.
No, that's great. But you are reading books currently.
Yes, and I'm reading books, yes.
Good. Because I feel that when you're like sitting there or laying there reading a book, I feel like he's there with you. And it's like he's enjoying the book with you, and also giving your subconscious part of your brain the messages that you need through what you're reading if you're not fully understanding it on different levels. Does that make sense?
Yes, it makes sense, although most probably I cannot notice it. This is always something, you know, what I have lacked in my life. Although I meditate.
Do you lay on that couch that you're sitting on and read ever?
Sometimes, but most of the time.
Okay, because he stands behind that couch and kind of peers in the book when you're holding it up, laying there on the couch, and he's kind of like, what is she reading right now? And then because of where he's at in his vibration, he can actually help your subconscious with what you're reading in moments. But it's more of a warmth when this happens. And like in your heart, you're going to feel kind of like an, oh, I get it moment, and you'll feel this warmth come across you while you're reading this book. And that is how you know it is him.
Most probably it's then when I look up to his photo, which is here on my shelf opposite. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But he's there in spirit. You need to know that, because I can see him watching you read on that couch.
But we can't get closer in touch so that I could actually
communicate with him.
In a way, feel or hear what he is telling me, or because we had one agreement. We said the one who passed away, the first one, either him or me, will get in touch with the other person, you know, from the spiritual world.
Are you holding on to any kind of lower vibrational frequency, like grief in any way, shape, or form tied to him, the loss of him?
No, not to him, because I know that we talked a lot about death and the life after death, and that there is no death, and that he was in peace when he went, and we both were in peace. No, not about him. I still grieve about my little chihuahua, which passed away
Right.
years ago.
Okay, so they're bringing up grief. That's why I asked, right? And they say that when you're vibrating in any way, shape, or form within your system, with any kind of lower vibration, it is harder to hear the higher vibrations. For our spirit and soul to cross into the next dimension, we have to vibrate at a higher frequency. So to hear these frequencies, we have to vibrate in likeness, which means clearing these grief blocks from you to open yourself up to allow the connection to happen. So if you're vibrating down here and he's vibrating up here, you can't hear him. So you have to resolve these grief and bring yourself back up to hear him and get on his level.
Okay.
But he is there.
Okay. And is there something in particular what you would like to tell me, or?
You're holding something in your heart that's like a block, but it could be like you already told us, it could be the grief from the loss of an animal.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it makes.
There's another man that's coming through too for you. And it's an older man. We can talk about that another time. Sorry. I know that you wanted to hear about this in particular.
Could be my brother-in-law, maybe.
Probably. And I could, I could tell you what his energy feels like to me. Of course, I haven't experienced him, but I could tell you what it feels like to me. So, with respect to Joe, I won't continue on with that, but I do want you to know that it's almost like they're lining up to speak to you. So yes, you are very connected. I would say just start working energetically with removing any lower vibrational blocks. And that way, when you clear those, your vibration will shift to a higher vibration and you will be able to hear them more and see them and, see the sparkles all around you when they show up.
Okay, I will see how I can manage this. That I will release this grief. Well, forever,
Yes, think of the opposition of grief. It's love. So what do you need to feel loved with what you're grieving? I'm not saying shut it out and, don't deal with it. Definitely deal with it. Bring it to the surface to heal it and love it. Transmute your energy into love.
Okay. Thank you, Beverly.
Yes, of course.
Maria, thank you. Thank you for asking your question. Appreciate you showed up and you were willing to open up for the group to witness as well. Thank you. There you go. Tina? Beverly?
Hi. Hi, I watched you on your designer series, and
Okay.
it was so interesting. And I actually am looking to set up a session with her also. My question is, I'm just wondering, I've always felt like I've had guides or, old relatives around me. I'm just wondering, do you see anyone?
I do. There is a figure behind you. It feels masculine. So not sure if that pertains to you in this sense, because I just read the energy. Sometimes we know and sometimes we don't know. I've had an instance in my personal life where I received a reading and this woman swore up and down that this man was checking in on me, but I did not know him. And it wasn't until 7 years later, speaking to my mother, I found out that was my grandfather. And I felt terrible to the reader because I did not know. So what I always tell people, whether you understand it or not, it's probably real. It may need to unfold in time, in linear time, because that's how our third dimension works. But when we read energy, it's all happening all the time.
Right. And I have a feeling that it may be my uncle or my grandfather.
Okay.
So that's correct.
Yes. He's a very emotionally closed off person, not really in his heart. And it's not his fault. I think it was more the time frame and the environment he grew up in, but he's not connected emotionally to his heart, like within love, but he loves you. And he expresses that in the way that he learned to do while he was here. But his energy can't come across as wanting to hold you and love you type of energy. He does, let me see here. He keeps taking me almost to an older home, and I don't know if it's it feels like it's in a wooded area, or there's trees around, and it's a smaller home. It might have wood paneling, but I'm not sure what that's all about, if it's a childhood thing or a home he lived in. He keeps bringing up a chessboard, and I'm not sure why he would do that either. So there's a chessboard, there's this residence. He's a very emotionally closed off, so I'm trying to read him emotionally, and he's very much masculine. Okay.
I know who this is now.
Okay.
It's definitely the chessboard said it all. It was my uncle.
Oh, okay. Well, he's here. And yeah. So let's see here. Is there anything more that is important other than you need to know that he's there? Have you spoke to him or reached out? No, he's left you hints, but you've kind of denied it.
Yeah.
That's what he just said. So, and he doesn't want you to deny. Yes, he's very protective. Very much so, because he's right there. And he's making sure I say the right things. So,
okay.
So I feel unless he gives me the go ahead, I think there's been some things misconstrued about a female in his life, about his actions with her. I'm not sure what that's about. That probably could be leaning more in a personal thing that he wants to get across. So I won't go there.
No, I understand it.
Okay. He did love her. He wants everyone to know that he did love her. And it was his childhood conditioning that contributed to his actions. And he does apologize. And he wants everyone to know that he loved her. Does that make sense to you? Yeah,
it does.
Okay.
We all knew.
Okay. Okay. Well, just in case, he wants everyone to know that. And he's bringing in a boy. Does somebody have a young child or a boy? He's been checking in on a boy.
Does he have a name? I think I know the name, but
it's hard to get across what he's saying.
Okay.
But I do see a bedroom, a small boy's bedroom. I do see him checking in on him. He doesn't want this boy to follow in his footsteps. He wants him to be more in his heart and acceptance of emotions for sure. So he can express later in life in a more heart-centered way, but still masculine and still protective and still loving of the family, but in a more loving sense. He wants this boy to have these qualities, and he does not want this boy to carry on in this. It's almost like the boy could turn towards retaliation and not want to I just see him doing devious things, but that doesn't mean it's happening now. It means it's a possibility or could be happening now. And he wants the boy to listen to his emotions more and come into them more clearly.
Okay.
And help. The adults around him need to help him understand his emotions better. Like sit and talk with him more and work out the emotional things. I hope that makes sense to you.
It could mean a couple. It could be a couple of different kids.
Okay.
Because he did have he had daughters who have sons also, so it may not pertain to me. But if I ever, yeah. So
you're gonna connect with this boy sometime soon, is what I'm getting, and that's why you're supposed to kind of look at the situation. He wants you to look at it. When you come into the situation with the mom and the family and the young boy, to look at it and then maybe slide in some helpful hints to the family on how to help the boy process emotions in a cleaner way.
Okay. Tell him I will.
Okay. I don't know why that's so important to him, but it is.
I can actually feel it coming through me. So
yes. I do too. Like,
but that's how he was. Very, when
he's right there. Like he's masculine. He's a man. He's gonna stand there and he's gonna say what he's got to say.
Okay.
Beautiful.
I just really want you to know that I say everything with love.
Oh, yes, I know. I can feel that. I can feel that. And I'll be more aware that I always felt that he was here, and I think about him a lot. But he passed away when I was very young. But
that's okay.
But our relationship was intense, and it caused problems with his wife. And I mean, there wasn't anything, I just felt how you feel a soul attachment to someone. And
yes.
And
yeah,
so
he's definitely hanging out.
Beautiful.
Is there anything else before I let you go that he wants to tell me, or?
That even though your guys' relationship, and perfect word to use for his energy, intense, because it is very intense. And when a person comes across as intense, it doesn't feel like love, right?
Sometimes.
But he wants you to know that he is coming in a loving way, even though his energy feels like that. That's kind of his energy signature, to let you know, and to pay attention to the things he's leaving there, to let you know he's still hanging out.
Okay, thank you for that. He was a gentle, what would you call a gentle giant?
Yes, he's very tall. Like, yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you, Tina.
Thank you.
Welcome, Leslie. Welcome. Meet Beverly. Beverly, Leslie.
Thank you, Joe. I honestly don't know how to work Zoom, so I'm doing quite well, I think, considering.
Yes, yeah, we can see you.
Okay. Yeah, it was just to say, Beverly, my dad's passed, so I just wondered if he had any message, because he's a bit of a chatterbox at the best of times.
Okay. Let me tap in and see if he is wanting to come forward. I'm looking. It's really interesting. There's a female actually that keeps coming forward. And do you have a close female friend? I mean, just by any chance?
What, passed over?
You do?
No, not passed over.
Because they're not saying not passed over, but there's something about them wanting They want to get a message to her.
To my pal, to a friend.
Yes. So
Okay,
I'm trying to let them know with somebody.
Okay.
Okay. Hold on. I'm trying to because she seems far away energetically. I don't know why, but they brought her up immediately.
I live in Scotland and she's Scottish, but she doesn't live in Scotland. So maybe she lives in America. So maybe that's why.
Oh. Okay, that makes sense. Why okay. I'm like, well, why you guys are really close, but you're not close.
We're like sisters, really. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Wow. Was there a time, and I don't know why they keep bringing this up, but there's a female and she leaves the house and goes to coffee. And I'm not sure what that means, but they keep talking about this female leaving the house to go to coffee. Wow.
She doesn't need friends for coffee, I suppose.
Right. It just seems like that. It's like, and sorry, this is where I try to connect the dots because they take me to places I've never seen.
Okay.
She's meeting somebody, and while she's there meeting somebody, there is a male spirit that comes and watches. You might want to ask her about this.
Well, it'll be her dad probably because he's passed over. It'll be her dad. But my best friend's dad.
So I don't know if she is trying to get into a relationship or has one, but she's definitely meeting somebody somewhere. And this male spirit is like trying to see if he wants to give approval to what they're coming together for, like a relationship or companionship.
Not with this friend. Definitely not. She's happily married. There's no way in hell she would ever have an affair.
Okay.
No, that's definitely not her, and she definitely wouldn't be having not
an affair. But and this could be personal because sometimes what happens is it could be the husband and wife meeting together and the dad maybe not approving of some of the things in the marriage. And so sometimes we have to understand what they're trying to tell us. Like, okay, I'm not sure I approve of this or that, and I want to watch what he says to you during this, if they're having lunch or coffee or what have you.
Okay.
And they must have been having a discussion about it. And he wants to see how he wants to handle it. So I'm really sorry, but
it's a very odd message, but
yes, they want to give that message to her so terribly bad for some reason.
So her dad is maybe checking up on her and her husband's conversations, and he's not maybe approving of her husband's
actions in some way, right?
All right, yes. Okay.
And that could be personal, so I won't go there, but no.
Okay. Well, okay, so nothing about my dad then.
Oh, that's so funny.
I know. Do you know what? That's just typical, isn't it? When you want a message for your friend, for yourself, you always get it for someone else. So.
Well, maybe the next time, but definitely have this conversation with her because I think it's going to be a splendid conversation for the both of you.
Yeah.
So, yes, definitely.
That'll be interesting, actually, because when her dad was alive, he was a very quiet man. And since he's passed, and he's passed longer than my dad, he's come through anybody that's had a talk with someone like yourself or whatever, or if I've gone to a spiritual church, whatever, he always comes through. He's never been so chatty since he died. Died as in passed over and alive somewhere else. Not dead, I'm sure, because he's never been so chatty. He never spoke so much alive as he has done since he died.
Oh my goodness. How funny.
I know, that's very interesting though. I'll tell her.
Yes, and there's something about a bracelet. So I don't know I'm not sure if there's going to be a bracelet that's been bought or exchanged or hasn't happened yet, or he wants, the husband to buy her a bracelet that she's always wanted. I don't know what's going on with that, but there's something there. So add to the fun of the conversation.
Yeah, so I'll say to her, and we won't say anything to her husband. We'll see if he comes up with anything, because that would be a huge surprise if we did that.
Yes. Now, with your own energy, you're holding on to some things for sure. Some things that you aren't done processing. Is that what I'm picking up from you?
I'm not sure. I feel like I work really hard on myself, so
Yes.
I think that I've been really good at processing. I mean, I really probably since the 80s, I've been really into spirituality and working on myself. So I've done it for decades, and I
Are
do
you
get
still doing the release work?
the relief work.
Release. Are you still doing
Oh.
release work?
Sometimes I do, yeah, because with the moon and then the solar eclipse and the new moon and whatever, it always seems to affect my energy. So I just do my best to, get through it.
Yes. It made you feel somewhat in a dark place this last couple of weeks?
For a couple of weeks I was up and down, and I'm not normal. I'm normally a happy-go-lucky person.
Yes.
But I went up and down, and I thought, oh, I haven't been like this for a lot. I haven't been like that for years, and I thought, oh, I'll just let it come through and let it go.
Yes, continue to do that. They are showing in an energy sense, there is some darkness that's coming up out of you. And I don't mean that in a negative way in any sense.
No, I just need to come through and let go of, I mean, I have had a lot of experiences.
Yes, and sometimes we process things from our ancestral lineage because it's passed down to us through our DNA and held at the, cellular level. And so continue to do that work because it's very important right now to not pass that on into when we start, shifting even more so as a humanity.
That's quite interesting you said that, because I thought I'd done the ancestral thing, so I was done with it. You know what I mean? It's like, I've done my work with that. That's it. I'm done with it because I've done a lot for that. So I don't feel like I need to do that anymore. I'm like, I've done a lot of work on that. So that's it. It's done. I need to release from
that. There is some left. And what I'm being told is that it's being passed to you to release it because somebody in the family isn't releasing. And so in that sense, they're giving it to you to release it, to help relieve the entire ancestral line. So yes, in a sense, you have done the work, but somebody else hasn't. And this energy is potent for release. So you are releasing for others in the family.
That doesn't surprise me at all. I think I've done a lot of that already, but yeah, I get exactly what you're saying. So here's me thinking I've done with it, and I've still got blooming more to do, but hey ho.
Yes, I don't feel like it's from you. I feel like it's from somebody else in the family that's connected at a genetic level.
Yeah, that's okay. That's great. Well, listen, thank you very much. I won't hold up because other people might want questions. Thank you very much. Nice to meet you. And thanks to you and Joe. Thank you.
Sure thing, Leslie. Thank you. Okay, and to your point and to your comment, who of us is ever really done with any of that release work?
Oh, please don't say that. I want you to jump the sun.
Yeah, didn't mean to burst your bubble.
Okay, thank you anyway. Thanks for you both.
Sure thing. The next question we have is from Lisa, and she says, "Hi, my daughter has a medical condition, and we're trying to figure it out. Will it be cleared up soon? Any insights on this would be helpful, and will this be a lifelong condition or a problem?"
Okay. It feels like it's in the lung heart area. Is that who I'm picking up on?
Hi. No, I don't think so, but it's
kind
of a medical mystery.
Medical mystery. So they are unaware.
We're working on it.
Okay. How long has it since she is a little girl?
Yes.
Okay. They just said that since she was a little girl. Her body is not responding in a normal way that normal humans respond to things. She's having reactions?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, she has a very clean soul and vessel inside of her. And some of these things are reacting because of that. They're almost like toxins being put into her body, and her body is such a clean source that it doesn't want to accept it's almost, they're saying archaic, like how they're trying to help her is in an archaic sense instead of in a, wow, she's like a new soul and light. She's very peaceful, calm, but she's like brilliant and bright. Is that making
Yes.
sense?
Musical.
Okay. Yes. She's very sensitive to everything. Highly
Yes.
sensitive.
Yes.
Highly, highly sensitive. Help her integrate her energy in her body and do your best to start understanding that better. In a sense where it comes from, even the paint on the walls, they're saying, her foods, let me see what else. Her bedding. I don't know why they would bring that up, but they did. And listen to her. A lot of the times she will know.
Yes.
Because she knows how to tell you. She's not, her soul is a new soul. And she's part of this shifting moment. And that's why we don't understand her. Is that making sense to you?
Is that why we don't understand how to help her?
Yes. Yes. Because I mean, how do we understand something of such a higher vibration and deal with it the way that it needs to be dealt with instead of through these toxic forms of the medical society?
Wow.
Yes.
I want to make her feel better. She's so miserable.
But she
holding
loves
her
you
back
so much. Do you know that?
I think so. Yes.
Yes.
And I love her that much.
So much love within her. Help her, ask her more questions about things like, when you eat this, how does this make you feel?
That's what we do all day long.
Yes. Keep continuing to do that. Continue to listen to that. Enzymes. Why are they bringing up enzymes in the digestive tract?
Okay, well, we were just trying those and that didn't seem to make any difference.
Okay, there's a different form. I don't know exactly what form they're wanting, but there's a different form that she needs of enzymes in the digestive tract. They're bringing that up to help her digest foods. She has a very hard time with a lot of the foods here because they have a lot of chemicals and her body is so clean. It's not going to process this stuff very well. And it's going to make her feel sick and it's going to show up in different ailments in her body.
What about hormonal?
Hormonal. They're bringing up estrogen and I'm not sure why. So that's not sure what's going on with that.
That's an avenue we're looking into.
Is it?
Early stages of trying to figure out why she feels this way.
Okay. So they are bringing up estrogen in the hormonal sense. The enzymes. There's an enzyme that you guys have not introduced yet. Of course, the good bacteria is prebiotics, probiotics. Probiotics eat prebiotics, and that helps restore the good bacteria in the intestinal tract. But there's enzymes. They keep bringing up enzymes. So there's some enzymes that's supposed to help her break down the short list of foods that she will be able to consume. Chemicals are a big problem with her, and they keep saying all the way to paint. Like,
we're getting ready to paint today.
Oh, be very careful. Don't let her be around the fumes. It will make her more sick.
Okay.
If possible.
We got low VOC paint. I hope that's going to be helpful.
Yes, and open the windows. And she's not going to be able to, her liver won't be able to process the chemicals from that. It's such a clean, high vibrational liver. It's, we're still integrating the new souls anyway. on this earth. And so as we continue this work, we're going to start understanding the human body in such a different form. It's very polluted, but they keep bringing up the paint thing. So just try not to let her be around the paint, and open the windows, make sure you air it. Make sure it's completely dry before she goes into the room or wherever this painting is going to be done. I don't know why the painting is tied to her, but they keep bringing that up. And something about sheets on her bed. Is she hot, or is she getting tangled up? What's going on with this? Like sleeping and sheets. It's almost like she feels sick sometimes in bed at night.
Yes, and in the day.
Okay. I think she needs sheets that are more breathable and some that have organic material. Because I think her skin is just like, for me, it feels like my skin's crawling.
Oh my gosh, she has a sensory issue at times.
Yes,
Yeah.
That's definitely something going on. The sheets need to be fixed. Don't have her around the paint, any fumes, smells, anything, enzymes, and definitely go down the road of estrogen. There's something with estrogen going on. See what else? She's a very high vibrational soul, and her body is vibrating in such a clean state. See, all of us that are already here, and we can be around these different chemicals and ingest these foods with chemicals or animal protein that hasn't been, put down in a humane way. We're almost numb to some of that. Some people are, but with her, it's like tenfold. She ingests something and the energy just unfolds inside of her, and her body responds immediately.
Do you feel that she'll be able to have a better year in college this year? Or will we still be dealing with this where it's affecting her career?
So her path is actually going to help others. So allow this process to unfold, because I'm being told that through her process of, understanding the medical part of it, her emotional part of it, her hormonal part of it, everything, through that, she's going to help other people. I mean, there's other souls out there that are dealing with this, I'm sure.
Yes.
if they're telling me that. And she's a huge conduit to help guide and healing a lot of the other souls that have come here during this process. So what they're telling me is don't rush it, pay attention, write down key points to things. And as long as school goes, just allow her, and they keep saying, allow her the time to rest and to process school, but it has to be in a really calm, peaceful, slow manner. It cannot be in an anxiety rush. Hurry up, get this done, deadlines. That stuff's going to stress her nervous system out, and it's going to not help things. So it needs to be in a really smooth. It needs to be a smooth, energetic flow through school. And she is going to have some down moments, and just be with her when she is down.
Okay. Well, we're going to try our best. We're still plugging away.
Yes. But this is huge for humanity. I want you to know that. Don't disregard the amount of souls that what she's going through, and how it's going to help so many people.
Wow.
And yes, so definitely what I mean is write things down. She could even start a blog on the internet and reach out to others like her, and they can talk about it. And that's going to give her some relief, because she'll be helping others through things that she has already gone through.
Okay, that's interesting. I appreciate that.
Does that help?
Yes, we're, it would be great to find a magic pill.
They said to tell you that you need to call on your guardian angels and ask for intervention when you feel drained, because this is draining to you and it's heart-wrenching and you become emotionally distraught with the situation. And when that happens, you are to ask these angels to come and soothe you and heal you and hold you, just hold you in peace and help you work through your low moment of the overload, the emotional overload from the situation, and just bask there with them. And then ask for their intervention for relieving the situation in some way for the highest, for the highest outcome of all.
Okay. I do often ask, and that's all I can do.
Yes. And they want you to just kind of just like falling back onto the most comfortable, bed and softness, and just feel the relief and just like bask in it. They're telling me that there's a part of you that doesn't let go when you ask, and they want you to just feel their comfort, feel their love and release, and then ask after you've done that and you've come to a peaceful place to ask for their intervention. Angelic law states that they are not allowed to intervene without you asking. The only time they're allowed to intervene is when it's a life or death situation and the soul is not ready to cross paths yet. That's when people walk away from car accidents that they should have never lived through. That just means their soul was not ready to cross over. And that's when the angels intervene without us asking, is life or death situations like that. But you are allowed to ask for their intervention. Otherwise, they just sit there and hang out and let things play in our reality.
Am I addressing them as guardian angels, or am I asking for my higher self?
So those are two separate things they're saying. The angels, they're very powerful, and your higher self is very powerful. But the angels rely on, they're saying, seventh dimension, and your higher self resides in the fifth dimension. So they're two separate things. So you can ask your higher self to connect with the angels more, but your third dimensional self can direct the intervention. You have to ask directly for intervention.
Okay. I will do that more.
Did I help clarify anything?
Yeah, you said some pretty awesome, amazing things. And I just hope that we're directed to the right people, doctors, or treatments.
Have you found a naturopath?
We haven't gone that direction in a few years. We tried somebody early on.
Yeah, they're saying that there's a new naturopath that will come in.
Wow.
And I think there's a fine line. Like me personally, as a person, I feel like there's a place for medical and there's a place for natural. And I think integrating the both with her and understanding how highly sensitive she is and why. She's not going to accept the things that the rest of us souls that have, incarnated here a million times accepted, because she's new. She's a new soul here to help integrate and help shift us and help teach us how to treat our bodies and in the vibrational likeness that we should be.
Wow. This is a lot to think about, and she is listening.
Good. Oh.
Excellent. I'd like to add something, Lisa, real quick, and it was probably implied in what you were told earlier. When the sheets were mentioned, I immediately thought about the detergent or whatever soap you're using, and you probably already have gone that path in terms of using something more gentle or clean. But anyway, I just wanted to throw that out because it wasn't specifically stated. You've probably been there, and I'm sure it was implied anyway.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much to both of you.
You're welcome. All right. Well, we've come to the end of our hour together. A little bit over, but that's perfectly okay because it was worth hearing everything that needed to be said to you, Lisa, at the very end.
Yes.
And yeah, and I know Beverly. Beverly, I felt you. For a minute there, I was starting to feel you getting emotional a little bit.
Yes.
And I was picking
I
up
try
on
to
that.
separate.
Everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks very much, both of you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Beverly. Love
Thank
you.
No,
Yes, thank you so
Bye.
much.
Bye. Thank you, Beverly. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.